welcome to Footwork Friday. So in my personal practice right now, I am really focusing on the footwork exercises that we do at the start of a classical reformer workout, but I'm thinking about how to apply them, how they show up like the Cadillac, and the chair, even on the mat, and how they might show up in other workouts or our daily life. And I want to showcase some ways to work with many of the foot-oriented strengthening and mobility exercises, even if you don't have a reformer or a foot corrector. So today's challenge is footwork using a magic circle, sometimes also called a power circle. There are plenty of these in the world. You probably use them in a gym or a group class setting, even if you don't do Pilates of any kind. And this is definitely going to be a balance challenge, so feel free to grab a wall, or if you are a Pilates person and you have a gondola pole, that might help. So normally on footwork, we have both feet on the reformer. It's not really going to work with the circle. I'm personally going to start with my left foot. Again, this is going to be a big balance challenge. So one padded side of the circle goes on the floor, and I try to bring all 5 toes onto that other pad and lift my heel as much as possible. It's a really unstable surface, and I press down slowly and press up, and press down, and press up. And you notice I'm not moving the circle that far. That's okay. Again, I'm working on an unstable surface, and I'm really trying to push from my glute. Normally we do 10, so I'll go ahead and do that. For 3, and 2, and 1. All right. I was gonna try to go all on one foot, but my standing leg is already talking to me. So we're gonna do this is the footwork toes exercise. The toes, all of the feet are on the foot bar. You can see my left side is way more challenged here. Press, and you notice my knee I'm trying not to have my knee move that much. On the reformer, it would move more. Because in the reformer, we're actually straightening our legs. That's not really an option here. This is really more focusing on the glute, but this is great because if you have a tendency to say overuse your quads or hyperextend your knees, this variation will train you to work from that booty more. And 3, and 2, and 1. Whew. My arches are talking. We haven't even gotten to arches yet. If you didn't know, in classical reformer footwork, we have toes, arches, heels, tendon stretch. So I'm going to go to my original side. I really put my arch on that pad and really try to wrap my heel and my toe, imagining my heel and toe could make a fist, and go for 10. And now the different part of your foot is on there. On the reformer, this is a lot more challenging, but here, I'm personally feeling a lot more stable and able to move more. And I think for me, it's because I have now more of a foot connection, so I have more stability on the circle itself, even though this is still a pretty unstable exercise. And 3, and 2, and 1. All right. And you can always let the circle drop. Arch on the other side. Whew. Take a moment to calibrate and then press down and up. And down and up. Yeah, this side's way more challenging for me. I have my hands on my hips because I'm trying to make sure my hips stay as stable as possible. Obviously, you're working this side, it's not going to be totally stable. But I'm trying to maintain some sense of that because I do have a little bit of a hip hike. You can also take your arms out to the sides if that helps you balance. course holding on to something. If you're feeling really spicy, you could put your hands behind your head. I'm not feeling that this morning. And 3, and 2, and 1. Oh yeah, I'm really feeling it on this side. All right, next is heels. All right, so I really try to get my center of the heel on that pad, and I press down and up, and down and up. Again, focusing on working from the glute. And I find this for me is the most challenging. Just like on the reformer, it's really, this one's the most challenging, in part because I have some limited ankle flexion. And you can see my body is really wanting to just send that circle away. So I'm thinking of, again, recruiting. I'm imagining the point where my hamstring connects to my booty, and I'm trying to imagine that point as the initiation. That might be really abstract for you. Obviously, we can't really see inside our bodies. I might be imagining something totally wrong, but that visualization, that imagining, I know where the connection is, it does help me. For 3, and 2, and 1. All right. Heel second side. And down and up. I'm trying to also, while my hip is pressing, or my booty, my glute is pressing the leg down, I'm thinking about my pelvis and my navel help lifting me up in the other direction to maintain balance. It's hard to talk and do this at the same time. And I'm trying to think of keeping my ribs contained. I personally want to really flare my ribs forward and go into some unnecessary back extension. So I'm trying to really think of thinking everything is zipped up, maybe wrapped in some nice I don't know, that saran wrap they give you after you get a back tattoo. That might be a reference not a lot of you get. 3, and 2, and 1. All right. So I feel like trying to do the tendon stretch on this would either be ineffective or dangerous if we're standing. So go ahead, lie down for the tendon stretch. Your feet can be parallel or in Pilates stance. If your circle is sort of narrower, you might be limited to parallel. But really get all 5 toes in there. Curl your heels toward the ceiling. Extend them toward the floor. Curl them toward the ceiling. Extend them to the floor. Oh my God, that feels so good. Curl and extend and curl and extend. And this is a circle, so it's going to impact where you can position your body. Try to keep your toes as wide as possible. Obviously, I can't keep my toes as wide here as I would on the reformer. That's just the facts. But try to keep them as wide as possible. And really try to think of that movement. Again, try to visualize that your ankle, try to visualize the point of where your ankle connects to your shin, and really try to see that as something that rotates. So you really focus on that ankle mobility rather than toe mobility. Toe mobility is important, that's just not what we're focusing on here. 3, and 2, and 1, and bring it in. So I hope this was a fun challenge. If you're a teacher, I hope this maybe gave you something to try with maybe some of your students who are really struggling with connecting in footwork. I have found it super helpful. And it's just a fun variation, especially if you can't really teach full reformer, or you have a circle but you don't have room to really spread out. So anyway, have a great day.